welcome to the 33rd Leadership Levers Lectures on a very, very interesting topic called Redefine Yourself, Personal Branding for Professional Success. And I'm sure you would have seen a lot of examples on both sides of the spectrum in terms of the personal branding. The entire edifice of the social influencer marketing, or you would be seeing digital marketing influencers, social media influencers, YouTube influencers, etc., right? All of them, I think, at some point of time, or I'm sure as a part of their journey to being a influencer or digital marketing influencer or marketing influencer, I think there is a very interesting element of personal branding. But even otherwise, right, you don't have to be a professional influencer marketer. But even otherwise, I think personal branding has a lot of importance for each one of our career. And we couldn't have a better person than Aarti Narang, and let me introduce the speaker for today. Aarti Narang is a founder and CEO of Brand My Style, and she's also passionate about designing distinctive, authentic, and brilliant brand stories. And her job is to make you and your work shine by delicately branding you and your brand style, uniqueness, strength, and representing it with a strong brand projection. She specializes in CEO branding and branding of personalities. Besides this, she also creates amazing brand stories for startups. Some of our clients have been celebrities representing India internationally, high-profile CEOs, authors, philanthropists, coaches, speakers, international diplomats, even an IPS officer who is an Ironman. And she also happens to be a faculty with Global Wedding Academy and a branding mentor with Woman Aware, which is a startup incubation for women entrepreneurs. And like I said, she's going to take us through some of the insights, or I would say, very, very key insights for branding ourselves, either on different platforms, definitely being in the professional social media, right? So I'm sure each one of us should be looking forward to the interesting discussion today. And as usual, after her discussion or during the discussion, please put your questions in the Q&A box, and definitely towards the end of her lecture, we'll take up all the questions as the time permits. Over to you, Aarti.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to share my insights here. And thank you, Dr. Nagendra, for the warm welcome. And special thanks to Team TimesPro also. And this is a topic that's very, very special to me. And of course, it's a topic that's, in today's digital times, the most important topic in online reputation management. So I'm glad to share my thoughts, my learnings, and of course, let's dive deep into it without wasting much more time on it. And before I begin here, I would like to know a little bit about what do you know about branding? According to you, what is branding? Please type it in the chat box. Let's demystify branding. Sell oneself. Yes. What else? Okay, a personality card, social media marketing, create an impression. Excellent. What else? Creating an image, quality representation to get maximum value add. First impression. Branding is to present ourselves in the most possible manner, about building personality. It's an image perception of one's to others. Great. A strong recall with associates. Positioning, highlight what we are. Yes, we are there over there. So let me demystify branding for you today. And let's go through this. Share my screen. Thank you for your answers. And yes, I really like the audience is very well tuned to the branding philosophy. Okay. Dr. Nagendra, is this screen visible? We can just...
Yes, we can see it.
Lovely. I think this particular slide does not need an explanation, and I will move in first. Today we're going to discuss what is personal branding. Let's demystify branding first. What is branding not? It is not a logo. It is also just not about creating an identity. It is not a company. Branding is also not a product or a service. So, what is branding? Branding is projecting impressions that you want your customer to perceive. How do you want your customer to think about you, feel about you? How do you want them to perceive you? That is branding. Branding is a person's gut feeling about your product, your service, or your organization. What do they feel about you when they meet you as a person? What do they feel about you? That what captures the essence of a brand. It's a gut feeling because people are emotional and intuitive beings. We all know air is free. Air is available to us free. But when the air gets bottled and packaged, it sells for a price. You also have an idea, but that idea, when you bottle it and you package it, and the way you present it, the way you position it, you can command a premium. Let's talk about 4 revenue generator streams: marketing, public relations, advertising, and branding. What happens in marketing? It's the salesperson who goes to the customer and says, my work is good, hire me, buy my products, buy my services. In public relations, it's the third person who recommends and says, she is good, go to her. In advertising, there's a bombardment done. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, buy me, buy me, buy me. But when it comes to branding, the game changes because here the customer goes to the salesperson and says, I understand, you are good, you are good. So when that feeling of the customer saying to the service provider or the person who's selling the products or services or the personal brand says, you are good, the game is almost won. And now the person can command a premium to his customers. What is authentic personal branding? Today, we're going to discuss a lot about authenticity, especially in today's digital times. What you come across on the digital platform, you have to be a perfect match of that when you show up offline. That's how the brand grows. So we will talk about how to get it right. I'm going to show you a video over here on some. I'm going to through some examples, through some case studies, through some pictorials, through some videos. I'm going to share with you some hidden nuggets, and I hope you will capture them, make a note of it, and we will of course discuss that in detail. So here we go. Let's watch this little video. Can someone please tell me if the audio and the music both is okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Here come the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the queen of the area. Still love you like that. No, no, we don't die. Yes, we multiply. Anyone press me, the fire they say. Act like you know we go. I know what both don't know. Let's them up and go. Here come the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the queen of the area. Still love you like that. Here come the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Excuse me, Mr. Officer.
So, wasn't that an interesting one? Yes. So what did you get? What did you learn about it? I would like some messages on the chat box as to what is the message the brand is trying to communicate. Children are pure at heart, drink Evian and be pure. Very good. Excellent. Be pure, rejuvenation makes you feel younger, be exciting. Excellent answers. Excellent. You can be young by drinking water. You nailed it. Very good. Excellent. Very good. So this is what the brand is trying to communicate. It's the feeling. It's communicated a story, and it's the feeling that we want the brand to evoke. And that's what we are going to talk about as when we discuss more in detail about branding. Go back to our slide here. Just take you through. So the brands always have to create a feeling, and this feeling is something that has to be very unsaid, uncommunicated. Okay. With this, I think we really understand that yes, it is about bringing forth the communication through a feeling. That's very the core of branding. We're moving on to the next one. I'm facing a little glitch. Please bear with me.
Sure.
I'm not able to move out of this. Okay, now I'm coming to my next second point. If you look at this image, it's just not an image, it's just not a picture, but it's communicating a story of a bride, a party, people having fun, she's having fun, and it's a celebration time. Brands have to build stories that connect. Another important part of the brand story here. Another third important point is providing solutions that consumers do not even know they need. For example, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, we never used Swiggy, Zomato, but today our habits have changed. Each and every phone in a metro city will definitely have a Swiggy or a Zomato app, even in the 2-tier and 3-tier cities. Chumbak, another brand, it evokes a feeling of vibrancy. These are small connotations that we are talking about here. A old classic example is of the iPod. When the iPod was created, we all know the story how the iPod came to be. Steve Jobs was tired of using the Walkman. He wanted 5,000 tracks in his pocket. He created an iPod. People didn't know they needed an iPod, but he presented it to the world in such a way that everybody owned an iPod at some point of time. We've got to provide solutions to consumers who do not even know that they need it and present it with finesse, that they love it, they want to own it. This gentleman came to us asking for a logo. When I heard his story, what he does, he was not even aware how a digital presence could really take his credibility 10x. And when we showed him what all are possible with a social media makeover, with a digital presence, with a website, we created a digital autobiography. Now, what I'm trying to say is people don't even know that they need something. And through branding, you can bring that forward. It's through the communication that you use. And you communicate your uniqueness. We all know that we've got a uniqueness, we've got to communicate that. But we have to communicate it with the user-friendly way, the UX way. How you will showcase your uniqueness, the user-friendly way is very important. And each of us can do it. Why? Because all we need to bring in a user experience is emotional intelligence. We all know what is emotional intelligence. We've got to use our emotional intelligence, map the user experience, create a wow every time we meet our prospective target audience, end user, create an impression, not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but every time, and create an experience of a delight. My promise to you is at the end of this session, if you apply what I'm going to share with you today, you will be able to stand out and be memorable. You will attract premium business and you will expedite your results. Are you ready? Would you like to just put in some words on the chat message to say you're ready, or raise your hand saying you are ready? Awesome. That's great. Super. So let's dive deep into it. Thank you for your participation. Really appreciate that. Let's dive next to what are the nuts and bolts that will take us forward in a personal brand story. Imagine you go to a Apple store. You want to buy the latest Apple 14 Pro. You've just purchased a brand new Apple 14. You're full of excitement, and unfortunately, when you go to the Apple store, I'm going to switch off the screen here, and I want you to watch me. Let's say you go to an Apple store to buy the phone, and the salesperson packs your iPhone just in some bag like this, and he wraps it and he says, hey, this is your Apple phone. Please take it. Would you like to take the phone like this? I'm sure no, you will not want it. What if he takes the same phone and he wraps it up, just not in the right packaging, but also puts it in a nice gift box? Would you love it? I'm sure. And he presents it to you with a lot of dignity, with a lot of care, with a lot of respect. How would you feel about that? I'm sure you would feel great. But what if inside this beautiful packaging, when you go home and you find not the Apple 14, but some kind of an old phone, how will that feel? Right? Imagine they impressed you with the packaging, but what's inside, they did not take care of that. Will you trust that brand? No. Yes, packaging is important, but what's inside, that's also very important. We can have the best car that we give it a Ferrari makeover, but if the engine is not good, it will not take you anywhere. So what you're offering as a service, as a product, that really has to be of an excellent quality. Let's go to the next slide. And okay. Alrighty. So what are the branding strategies? We evoke feelings via authenticity, being truthful, being communicating what you stand for, being that brand that we promise of delivering. When we are a personal brand, we've got to deliver something, some promise we are making for as a brand. We have to make sure it's delivered. That's where authenticity comes. The next part I would like to talk about is, we all know in branding, specialization is important. We all know that. But a little more important thing than just identifying your specialization, I'm going one step further. We all have a niche. That's why we want to be a personal brand. And because we are a personal brand, we are now going to the next step of specialization. After specialization, the very most important step is communicating it to the right target audience. Now, if you walk into this store and you want to buy a camera that specializes in night photography, what will you do? You will walk straight to that corner where you know there are cameras specially designed for night photography. The customer will be able to identify the product with total ease, because let's say Canon has already spoken about the features of their lens that enables night photography with total ease. Communicating your specialization to the right defined target audience is very important. Now, how do you do this communication? I'm going to come to that also. By positioning your brand rightly. Since we are talking about personal branding, I'm going to talk about brand positioning for personal brands. What do we do here? In positioning of personal brands, let's talk about an interesting case study, and that is of Lady Diana. Do you know how she positioned herself? She called herself Queen of Hearts. There was a deliberate attempt by Lady Diana. We all know the story, and I will not get into the nitty-gritties of how, what, when, but yes, if you want, please do Google out. It's an amazing story. She had mastered the art of self-marketing through her charitable associations. After she got divorced from Charles, she went on to be a global humanitarian, and she, in an interview, communicated she will not be the queen, but she will be the queen of people's hearts. She positioned herself that way. She did her all the efforts to back that up, and eventually she did become the Queen of Hearts. We all know our Honorable Prime Minister, how he has created a global brand of himself and for our country also. Now, there are a lot of things. We can do another special session on how to create the brand positioning. If I go too detail into that, we will really be short on time. So I'm going to really move on with the next important point, and that is integrating all touch points. In integrating all touch points, this is one classic example of a project we did where we integrated we did CEO branding for him. So it's a personality based branding where we integrated his website, his digital presence, all his offline collaterals, gave it a brand image. This is how an integration of touch points is to be done. I will talk more in detail about brand integration in my next slide. Here, before I go more into detailing about the integration, let me show you this and ask you, what do you see here? What's the image that comes to you? Would you please write in the chat box for me? What do you see? A duck and a lion. Excellent. Anybody else? Okay, let's see what it is. And here we're going to talk about if a brand looks like a duck and swims like a dog, people will distrust it. And this is what as brands, we need to really, really focus on is creating trust. We can't be the duck and swim like a dog. That's what we're trying to say here, that we tend to base our buying choices on trust. Trust is equal to reliability and delight. When we create a delight, we show we are reliable, we deliver it, we are reliable, we build trust. You can take a screenshot of this if you wish to, and it's all about feelings, communicating a specialization, positioning your brand, integrating touch points, building trust. I will also speak more about how to integrate more touch points for enhancing your personal brand. Now, some more nuts and bolts for you, personal branding 2.0. I just want to share this with you. If you are not branding yourself, remember, someone else is already branding you. I will repeat this because it's very important. If you are not branding yourself, remember, someone else is already branding you. And let me share this with a story. Let's say there are two brothers, Vijay and Jay. Vijay is the person they're twins, born 2 minutes apart. Vijay, however, his personality, when you meet him, he is the life of a party kind of a personality, a live wire. He would love to, meet more people, entertain, be in the spotlight. On the contrary, his brother, Jay, is the quietest soul you've ever met. Now, without saying anything, Vijay is created a label for himself, and Jay has also created a label. Now, instead of label, let me call this projection. He's already created a projection. So it's very important that we mindfully create a projection of what we want others to perceive us as. Imagine you are on a date. Now I'm diving deep more into personal branding, and through a lot of examples, I'll be throwing in a lot of nuggets. Imagine you are a 16-year-old person. You are on a date. Okay? Let's say you go on a date where your face is covered. You have to wear a box mask on yourself. Do you think you'll ever be able to establish a trustful relationship with the other person? I'm sure no, you will not. Unfortunately, a lot of people are trying to build relationships wearing a mask. They don't show up who they really are. And it's very important to communicate who you really are, what you stand for. All my clients who come to me, I implore them, tear off this mask, come forward, be who you are, be bold out there. And when you are bold and whoever you are, you show up digitally, be that person offline also. Great branding shows customers what makes you you. That's the most important part of branding. That when we show up, we should show up as an authentic self, and we should be more visible. We should make an effort to be more visible to our target audience by communicating who we are. Classic example, this gentleman for whom we did the brand management, he's a game changer. We positioned him as a game changer. He never used the word game changer, trend center before. He knew he was a game changer, but he didn't know that he should be communicating that. Any sector, any industry he goes, he changes the game. And visually also, we've tried to communicate this through his website. Very important part, again, as I mentioned earlier, is making your online and offline brand a perfect match. That's how the trust is built. That's how the authenticity is established, and that's how businesses grow. When people like you, they will want to do business with you. And if they trust you, they will even recommend you. Authentic personal branding. We cover who are you? What are your values? What are the strengths you have? What do you stand for? We got to identify that, do a SWOT analysis, and not only that, communicate it in the right way. Why do you do what you do? The purpose is very important. Why are you passionate about the business that you are in? If you are a doctor, why are you so passionate about medicine? If you are a leader in the, let's say, in the marketing world, why are you so passionate about marketing? What is your personal story? It's very important to bring your story out over there, because people are interested in doing business with people. They don't do business with the offices or the product or the services. They do business with human beings. When, as a personal brand, when you are coming out forward, share your personal story. What is the value you want to create? When you meet people, what is the value you leave there? And this value that you create will
Aarti, I think we lost you. Aarti, are they there? Just give us some time. And for I think she is having a technical glitch. I'm sure she should be joining immediately. Maybe in the meanwhile, if you have any personal branding stories or examples you might like to put in the chat box, please. That would be interesting for everybody else to know it. I'm sure each one of you must be having from your own example, and not necessarily from the personal point of view. But if you know some great examples, it would be great to have you put it in the chat box, please. Yes, Neeraj, I think, Kiran Bedi's, I think it's already put. In case if it is not, I'm requesting Manvi to do that. But I know for sure it must have been put, but in case if it's not, I will make sure that it's put there. Hope all of you have got access to Kiran Bedi's book as well. I think we have hosted that book as well, the soft copy or the book that she has written, which is going very popular. In fact, last 2 weeks, she has been in New York representing, the UN, right? And for UN policewoman there, and she was invited as the chief guest. She was doing it. Over to you, Aarti. Sorry, I think we missed you for some time.
Hi, I'm back.
I hope
There
it is
was
not
a
a.
drop in the internet, and I just got into another internet.
Yeah.
Thank you for being patient with me and being there for me, waiting. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll just go back to the old slide. I think you were there till, I don't know what. I didn't know when it dropped off.
I think that's a beauty of it.
So quick recap on what are the authentic personal branding strategies, who you are, why do you do what you do, what value do you want to create, what is your brand promise, okay, what you want to be known for, what is your personal brand statement. If you write down with clarity all the above points, that will lead you to your last point also and help you to create the communication. How and where to communicate, I'm going to talk about this in the next one. What are the other brand influence strategies? Creating a brand identity logo, case-to-case basis, I would say it's needed. It's not compulsory every time. For example, if someone is in career transition phase, they want to really create, show them themselves as an expert, so that when they are able to attract the right opportunities, we may or may not recommend a logo depending on their current. So it's a case-to-case basis. But what I'm going to share with you is a general rule. We help people identify us through a symbol, a monogram, or a logo. Now, for example, this client that we worked on, when she came to us, she was already in business for 3 years. She was using the logo that you see on your left side. And when she came to me, I said, allow me to speak my truth. I have to do my duty as a brand strategist. This logo, though you love it a lot, I know that it's not functional. Your vision is to go global, but this logo has a limitation. It doesn't give a global impact. It would take a while for her to digest it, to change her logo, but eventually she went by the recommendation we gave. We created a logo that's so beautiful over here. I don't have the time right now to show you the brand identities, but just going to take you a gist of it. That having the right logo in the modern times is very, very important. Moving in further, I would like to show over here is another name-based logo that you all can create for yourself. This particular client came to me for a website. She works as a very senior, very senior position, and she wanted a website that just speaks about her leadership qualities. We kept her personal life at the side. We kept her current job at the side. We didn't touch all of that, but we projected her global expertise as a leader. And that's how you can even pick up what your achievements are. Use your strengths, use your achievements, use whatever impact and results you've created in the past. Let your past success get you bigger, bolder success for the future. But you have to project your past success in the right way. not being very egoistic, not being very showing arrogance, but with a lot of subtleness. Moving forward, we help people create, and that's what I recommend even you should be doing, is creating a website, be it a simple one-page website or a multi-page website. Even if you are working as a corporate professional, have your own website, showcase your own blogs on that website apart from doing it on social media. The benefit to you is the SEO gets engaged. You have all the information about you at one place, and that was your own, it's in your own control. I would like to just quickly, I'll skip this because we are short of time, so I'll go to the next point, and that is on content curation. How do you create your brand messaging? This is a very important part in creating the personal brand influence. Brand messaging that we create should give purpose and direction. It should show what the brand stands for. And this is what we've communicated through this brand, Sukoon. If you read this website, everywhere it speaks about the target audience. It's kept in mind everything, how the target audience should feel, how the target audience should take action when they come on the site. The content that goes, now let me give you a secret. When we create an About Us page, or when you create a profile for yourself, actually, it is not about you. It should be about the target audience, about the service you provide. It's not about you. But it is the About You page, it is the profile about you. So there has to be a very beautiful balance over there. However, very subtly, it has to very subtly communicate what benefits the end user will get. It should communicate your brand promise. Very important to consistently deliver in your content is, what is the brand promise? Once you've identified that, communicate it consistently. Social proofing, a very, very important part. There are some industries where, for example, this particular client, when we created the website, we made sure her testimonials, the reviews are short, very to the point, because the kind of audience she has, they don't have time to read a lot. But if it was a coach or a trainer where a senior leader, an HR director has to decide whether this coach will do justice to their senior leaders, they will read testimonials that will be at least a long form testimonial or maybe 500 words. Visual imagery is a very important part of brand tactics here. And for example, in this picture, if you see the visual imagery, it tells a story in an instant. The brand identity, the logo, does not communicate what the story stands for very clearly, but this image that we used deliberately created a corporate feel, and we created a mock-up here that communicates the story the brand is trying to communicate. Use visuals, take aesthetics, make aesthetics a very important part of your communication presentation, because people don't read content nowadays. They're consuming too much of data, and it's through visuals what you can communicate, you will really have an upper hand. If you look at this image, it communicates the tagline that we've created for her. Now, very important part here is networking. Two kinds of networking. We all are aware about networking, meeting people in person. But of course, when we are doing networking offline, that is meeting people in forums, groups, online, in LinkedIn groups and WhatsApp groups, how do we support them? How do we create a relationship, add a value? Are we doing it consistently also? Liking somebody's post, encouraging them. There's a lot of ways we can do networking digitally also. Now I'm going to talk about the next most important point is target audience engagement strategies. How do you engage with your target audience? You optimize your social media. You create wow videos. There's a lot I can speak on each of these points. but we really are short on time, so I will move forward with it. Blog consistently, make sure we are blogging consistently. And when we are blogging consistently, we are using the right keywords also to engage the SEO. Contribute as a guest author at various opportunities that may come to you. It will help you establish your personal brand. Volunteer, pay it forward, be visible in circles, and genuinely do it. Do it with authenticity. If you feel you don't want to do it, don't fake it. But at least I'm sure we, as human beings, we all want to contribute. So when we do it so beautifully that it creates a circle of influence. And whenever you present your presentation skills or the public speaking skills, this will really help in creating and establishing a more personal brand. There are various forums that help you to, like Toastmasters, and there are various other public speaking forums. I recommend to go and attend these. If I would feel that my skills are not very good in public speaking, take help, get a coach on board, attend classes, whatever. But presentation skills go a way forward in establishing yourself as a personal brand. Integrating touch points. We once again talk about personal brand statement. I wish I had more time. I would speak more in detail with examples on how to create a personal brand statement. But we'll move forward fast. We're almost through the time limit I have. Another touch point is business cards, stationery, PowerPoint presentations. Even the presentations that you show should carry your brand image forward. I'll show you a few examples. The one-pagers and the multi-page profiles that you send out to your stakeholders, or could be the clients or whoever your client base is, or your we need to have excellent profiles made for us. The proposals that we send out to our clients, definitely they should be. Now, integrating touch points. So for example, as I say, instead of telling, it's always good to show. So here I show you how we integrate touch points. We've created your certificate that she gives away to her participants, her website, which showcases her brand very strongly with the brand colors that match in, stationery, the envelope, the one-page profile, the letterhead, the social media also. PowerPoint templates is another client we've worked with, and even the PowerPoint templates that we've given her stand to showcase her brand. She can just remove any of the content and images. The master file is with her. So you can create your own PowerPoint template either on Canva or Microsoft PowerPoint Prezi, but make sure they're all in sync. Digital visiting cards, signature e-blog, all should be consistent to match with your brand image. Personal branding process also includes public relation activities, media interviews, philanthropy, articles, books, speaking engagements, and how you treat your employees. Employee treatment is a very, very crucial part that goes in building a brand, and make branding your online army to support you to conquer your goals. I have seen my clients really, really prosper once the branding is done. They're so confident, even if it's a solopreneur, he feels he has an army with him and he is able to move forward to get the best deals for him. Branding success doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be bold, you've got to be authentic, you've got to be very consistent. With this, I end my presentation over here, and we can definitely take up some question answers that we have a Q&A for. I'll just take, yes, Dr. Nagendra, would you like to proceed forward?
Yeah, thank you, Aarti, so much. I think, right, with I think quite a plethora of details there, right? I think there's a lot of detailing that must be required for each one of them. But nevertheless, it's amazing to see, the depth of coverage in terms of the personal branding, because people might think that it's just about, do little 2-3 things, but then, the way you have showcased in different elements of personal branding, and each one requires a lot of detailing. Like people say, God is in details, kind of thing. But nevertheless, thank you so much. And we have a lot of questions for you, and let's see how it goes depending on your time. And the first one is from Mr. Ratnapradeep Chaudhary, and his question is, "Hello, ma'am. First of all, very good evening to you. And my question is, in today's dates, how can we make the marketing and branding as a prime tool in product positioning, as there are strong competitors in the market and stand out from the crowd?" Thank you, Ratnapradeep.
Beautiful question. Thank you. How, again, if I look at the bottom line, how do you stand out? That's the question. How do you stand out? And if you have products and services, I think, again, it boils down to the brand promise, delivering the brand promise, using the benefit of what the target audience will benefit, communicating that benefit, living up to that brand promise. I think if I would have to go through this presentation again, it would again answer you the same question.
Thank you. This is the question from Mr. Sanjeev Verma. I think he's picking up from one of the photos that you have shown with Donald Trump and Mr. Modi. And his question is therefore, can you please help us to understand the top 5 key points about Mr. Modi to become the global brand? Thank you, Sanjeev.
I didn't get your 5 points of?
5 key points about Mr. Modi to become the global brand.
Okay. So this is a very tricky question, Mr. Verma. It's politically motivated. I think I will give it a pass. I would not want to answer it on a forum, but in a way, I can just say his vision is very big. His vision is really very big, and what has made him a personal brand is he's very passionate about making India a global brand. His passion, his strategies, his execution, and the efforts he's taken. He may have not been able to speak or talk or walk like the way he does now, but he learned all of that in the process. And he's iconic today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. This is a question from Mr. Ravi Krishnarpan. His question is to create a brand, I won't say question, but then more of a perspective for everybody else, right? And to create a brand, one should have an USP, which separates that person or product from the crowd, and also the consistency of delivery. Delivery matters a lot. Thank you, Ravi. It's a very interesting perspective. And then we have a next question, and that is from Mr. Biju Melathil. And his question: Sachin was never a great captain, and even as a captain to some of the matches, he was not branded as a captain. While MS Dhoni was never a great batsman, but he was branded as a Captain Cool, a well-known in cricketing world as a brand. And again, I don't think it's a question, but then it's a nice perspective, I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is a question from Mr. Sandeep Soni, and his question is: I wish to know, can we have this? Can we have this kind of services of personal branding for the career change?
Can we have the service instead of personal branding for
the career change?
Career exchange.
Career change.
Of course, yes, yes. For a career change or a transition, when you're looking for a transition to a new career, how do you prep up your resume is very important. There are millions of resumes out there. When the interviewer is picking up resumes, he is going through so many. Yours should really stand out. Personal branding can make that difference to make it stand out. I'll give you 3 tips over here how to make it stand out. 1, what's the value addition you bring to the organization? Talk about your results and impact you've created so far. Instead of writing key responsibilities, what you manage, talk about what success stories you created in your previous organizations. Now I'm going to talk about something new, and I feel this is going to really pick up in the future. People may be using it now. Create a 2-minute video about yourself. Those who are comfortable on a video, create a video and send that in an email. See the magic it can do. Yes,
absolutely.
Next question.
Thank you. This is a question by I think just a moment. This is a question from Priyanka Verma, and her question is, what exactly do you mean by personal brand statement? Can you please give some examples? Thank you, Priyanka.
Excellent question. Excellent question, Priyanka. Let me give you some examples of personal brand statements. Now, people, let's say, I will use it from my own stories that we've done for our clients. Let me put it this way. When we talk about what we create, so a personal brand statement will have three things in common. Who we are helping, what does our value showcase it of, what is the value we bring forward to the clients, and also we will talk about some unique character of ours that we spin it around and bring a very positive spin around it. So this is a very long session on creating a personal brand statement, and I would suggest Google out. You'll get more information on personal brand statements also. It's in other words, it's very much like an elevator pitch, but it's the brand promise you are creating for yourself, and at the same time you are differentiating yourself from others. Yes.
Maybe let me take that question forward with little more curiosity, Aarti. Now,
Yes.
if you see LinkedIn profiles, right, a lot of people, right, you would have seen quite
Yes.
very formed. You have the name, and then just below the name, you have the designation. That's normally the thing. But you also get to see another set of people who don't write anything about the designation, but they also write just about, data scientist or inquisitive, philosopher, something like that, or let's say philanthropist, or let's say they talk about very good with numbers, or what is the finance wizard kind of thing. So therefore, you have two set of people: somebody who just put their designation just right underneath their name, and somebody who writes their expertise. So therefore, do you think this expertise, the people who write their expertise, is some sort of a brand statement, Aarti?
Yes, I agree to that. Let me give you an example quickly. We did a branding for one of the clients. We created a small little statement for her. I'll read out the statement to you, and it goes as: Coach Sahar helps individuals to make better decisions and lead their life with purposeful clarity. It's so different from the regular small statements about what they do. What does Coach Sahar do? She helps individuals make better decisions.
Right.
And lead their life with purposeful clarity. She stands for clarity. Clarity is her brand value that we recognized her. She helps people to make better decisions so that they can have a better life. So this is it's a very deep science on how we create this, and hence I'm not getting too much. We will consume a lot of time, but I think three things I can tell you over here is: one, what is it that you do? How do you help? Get your personality infused over there, get something of your brand value that you stand for infused in that statement, and communicate that to your target audience. And if you can add the target audience name also to the statement, that will help them identify you quickly.
Good. Now let me have another question from Mr. This is question from Mr. Neeraj Kumar, and his question is, and he's starting with a nice thank you, a nice session. Good to know someone is branding you if you're not branding yourself. What are the top three things to focus on and improve on self-branding? Thank you, Neeraj.
Okay, optimize your social media. Number one, that's the first place to begin with. Number two, what's the communication you are creating out there? And number three, live through your brand promise. Deliver what you promise.
Absolutely. Hope Neeraj, I think you're convinced about it, right? Here's a very interesting, very simple question, Aarti. It's a question from Mr. Rajiv Kumar, and his simple question is how to improve personal brand as an employee. That's actually a dichotomy: personal brand and the employee.
Yes. So how to include personal brand as an employee? Very good question. Very good question. Now, how is your internal communication? Or let me put it this way. In an internal organization, how do you create influence within your organization to build your brand in such a way that you have your community where people will want to be with you, do what you say because they love you, because they really care for you, not because of your position. And how do you create that personal brand out over there is being authentic, uh, doing everything that you do which creates a delight. Now, if I go back to all my other questions of my other statements that I made, I think pick up something from there and try to integrate it and create a brand within an organization. Get visible, get noticed over there. You will get faster promotions.
Thank you, Aarti. Maybe with your permission, let me share one insight from Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder and CEO, the CEO. Somebody asked him as to what does he mean by brand. He said very with a lot of wit, but then I think it is stuck with the rest of the corporate lexicon now. He defined corporate. He mentioned anything as a brand as anything that people remember after they leave the room. And that was a very insightful thing. When they remember you after they leave the room, I think that's a very insightful. I think that's what it is, the kind of the enigma that you create. Absolutely interesting. And this is a question from Mr. Jagdish. Can I go ahead, Aarti?
Yes, I want to add to your point, Dr.
Sure, sure.
Nagendra. And
Please.
when you made a very important point here in personal branding, and that is what the feeling you leave behind after you leave the room is
Right.
again evoking feelings
Right.
with
Absolutely.
authenticity. And I think if we just work on that and making the other person, make them feel special genuinely,
Exactly.
it
Absolutely.
makes a world of a difference, makes the
Absolutely.
world a better place too.
Absolutely. In fact, there is something called as a fish philosophy,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Kind of thing. Very good. And this is a question from Mr. Jagdish Barla. And his question is, Dear ma'am, I'm going for a startup in my city. My startup is for maintenance and servicing of lifts, elevators. How do I have to go? How do I have to proceed for branding of my startup? All the best, Jagdish, and I'm sure you'll have great time ahead. But nevertheless, for immediate questions, over to you, Aarti.
Jagdish, congratulations on your startup and loads of success. I'm been a first generation entrepreneur, and also this is my second business, Brand My Style. So I understand the story. You are on an adventure. And I think this is a great analogy. Since you are starting, I'll share this analogy with you. When I started my first business, I was a leadership consulting. I didn't do any branding. And I always had to have the push philosophy to it. But when I did Brand My Style with all the branding in place, my second business, it always had a pull effect. So great that you're aware to use the branding strategies in place. For a startup, it's again treated as a corporate branding, but again, if it's bootstrapped, it will have a lot of stuff to take care. What I would recommend is get a one-page website at least to start with. Get the logo, it will be timeless. Invest in the logo, in the brand identity, because that's very important. It will stay for long. From the branding touch points, I would say is whatever touch points you see, wherever there will be interaction with external party, make sure, be it even a vendor, be it a partner, be the client, or end user or the target audience, make sure that it carries the brand value and the brand recall is established. Now, how do you do all of this? My website has a lot of blog articles. You can read through those articles also. But the steps that I mentioned earlier with the presentation slide that had the brand identity, the one pagers, the website, that's the slide that you would have to actually begin and follow on that too.
Thank you. A lot of homework for you, Mr. Jagdish. Thank you so much. This is the question from Mr. Preetham Rana, Aarti, and his question is, how can we prepare our own brand before facing interview apart from resume?
Apart from resume, how can we create a personal brand? Is that the question?
Yeah. How can we prepare our own brand before facing interview, apart from having a resume?
So apart from a resume, create a one-page website, at least for yourself. I am a strong believer of having your own virtual office or your own virtual real estate, because that is going to stay with you. Tomorrow, God forbid, Facebook shuts down. Where is your audience going to go to? So at least through the website, you're able to be in touch with the people through the blogging, email marketing. And apart from email marketing is another step only if you are into some product or service. But if you're just establishing yourself as a personal brand, I would say create at least a one-page website that talks about your values, your purpose, what you do, what's your past achievements, all of that. Not only that, consistently blog at least every 15 days. Share your blog article, the website link on the social media. Uh, Another way of building the personal brands is contributing to various causes, being a volunteer, paying it forward, creating a social network. When we go out to network at networking forums, really be of support to people. It's not about just dropping in a visiting card over there, but it's creating a relationship, not just a connection, but a relationship. And consistently going over there, that's how bonds are built.
Absolutely.
There are many other methods. I think if you have made a lot of notes from my session today, and you will really get a lot of pointers over there.
Very good. And this is a question from Mr. Vivek, Aarti, and I want to say, I think more of, I think, like you rightly said, it's a paying forward kind of thing. Will you be able to share some case studies or references for personal branding, which we can refer later? Thank you, Vivek.
Some case studies for personal branding. Yes, I can share. You can actually check the website. I have a lot of case studies listed out over there. And in generic case studies, I really like the case study of Fiji water. Fiji water. It's going to be a long conversation, Dr. Nagendra, if I get into these case studies and the stories. You guide me whether I should talk about these case studies now or.
Maybe I think if you can share some of things, maybe at least the reference points, right? If not necessarily detailed ones, maybe through Manvi or Nandita, we can put it up in the LMS along with this one.
Yes, I could do that. That would be a good idea. Thank you, Dr. Nagendra.
So I think because of a lack of time, I think I'm just taking with your permission the last question for today evening, Aarti. And that question is from Mr. Pradeep Lamba. His question is, may I ask, how do we create script for a video resume? I mean, what we should talk about, and can you share some examples? Thank you, Pradeep. Very insightful.
Great question, Pradeep. I think if I summarize this question, Pradeep, is how do you make your resume stand out? And how do you script it? How do you get the flow? I would suggest in the earlier section, again, the start section, create a hook about what you stand for, your purpose, what you believe in, what's the value addition you provide. Talk about the strengths, your superpowers, your gifts. What is it that you bring to the table? Talk about that. List down your achievements that you've achieved all the way. Let the first page be an impressive one and an authentic one. Okay. Another important thing I have noticed is most of the resumes don't carry testimonials. They will write a small line, or in the cover letter include that if you want some references, we will share with you. But hey, I say take 3 best testimonials where the person who's giving a testimonial says how that person has made a change in their organization. What's the impact they've created? Those words should be captured in a testimonial. And when you put 3 such testimonials, or 2, at least 2, put it on the resume. I know it's unconventional, but I would say do it. And show that you are also open to, if you are willing to move into different cities, for a better opportunity, mention that locations that you want. It will show that you are open to change, you're open to bigger challenges, your bigger opportunities. It talks a lot about the personality's mindset also. So these few things you can cover it up. Also, Dr. Nagendra, I had previously done a podcast on how to spruce up resumes. I can share that link with you, and you can also
Sure.
put that on.
But I think his question is about video resume, Aarti. But a very interesting one, by the way, very interesting one, right? But video resume definitely has a different connotation altogether, Pradeep, right? Because like people say in the video, I think the most important thing is because people get to see you, and like people say when you're talking or when you're bring, like ma'am was talking about, public speaking or presentation skills and things like that. I think the most important thing is definitely, like people say, 90% is how you talk and 10% is what you talk, right? So therefore, the body
Right,
language
right.
plays a big role there. But nevertheless, it's
Absolutely.
wonderful insights, Aarti. And sorry if you have taken a little more time, right? But it's absolutely interesting. Although we have a lot many questions to going a little, wanting for it. But absolutely pleasure hosting you, and I'm sure everybody who attended this one, right, would be going away with a lot of insights for personal branding. I think the best one is maybe for the authenticity and the like genuine part of it. That's what you're saying, and also paying it forward. It's not just there you're because unless like, I think what we meant is unless you have skin in the game, there's no way that you can make it happen, right? So thank you so much for spending your Saturday evening, especially. We know how important it is for you after very laborious week. But absolutely pleasure hosting you, and look forward to having maybe another deep dive sessions with one of the very important concepts, or maybe ideas, or that can help people build their careers in the years to come. Thank you so much once again, and thank you all of you for having been a great audience as always. Thank you so much, Aarti, once again.
I would like to thank you, Dr. Nagendra, for inviting me. I always very passionate to speak about this topic, sir, and I really believe education about personal branding and making more and more people aware is in today's digital times is very important. And I would like to say thank you to the lovely audience, and they've been engaged. They have really participated, asked amazing questions. Really, thank you for being there, and it's an honor. Thank you, Dr. Nagendra.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right. Namaste.
Thank you. Thanks.